Do I?
The meeting of the park board is now in order for our monthly meeting in June. We call to order, we have a quorum.
Yes.
Next up is the approval of minutes of April 10th.
It should be May 8th.
Yeah,
We approved April's last one.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Approved the minutes of May 8th.
Okay, so we are approving the minutes of May 8th. I do not have a copy of the minutes. I read them online.
Oh,
Chris, we should have one to sign for this.
yeah. Where's our green folder from?
Here. This is April 10th.
Well, I think we can.
Oh, here we go, sorry.
Okay, I'm just like, okay, wait, yeah. All right, perfect. I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from May 8th.
There's a motion on the table to approve the minutes from May 8th.
I will second that motion to approve the minutes as submitted from May
The minutes are approved. Moving on to old business, just to keep up as much as our attention is the hot coal bin and the plaque and the concrete pad for the coal bin. They are still open items. I haven't forgotten them. They just are taking a low priority with the 4th of July. So,
Yeah, I don't have an update yet on the concrete pad,
okay.
so.
So that's there for, just to keep in front of our face. We had our park beautification day. We did a lot of work. It looks great. They worked especially on the fence line, and that's going to be an area that they're going to really concentrate. It's proposed that we have another work day in the fall to kind of keep things under control. So that leads us into hiring a part-time maintenance worker. We've been approached, Bob's grandson, he's turned 16. He would really like a part-time job. Chief, if you want to elaborate on his qualifications.
Yeah.
His name's Bryce Boudreau. It's a little harder for me to say. He is 16. He wants to work summer while they're out of school. In the past, since the majority of the work is in the park in the summer, like cutting grass and all that, we were trying to get Bob someone to help him. So how we break it down is the Parks Department would pay for 2 hours a day. The rest of the time falls under Public Works. So it's 25 hours a week. You work the same schedule as Bob, and $12 an hour. So when you break that down, you're out of a day's pay, yours is like $1.80.
Okay, but out of the 25 hours, 10
hours
of
a
those
week,
are
yes,
to
yes.
the park?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the next, he's already started, right?
Yes, yeah, he started working for Public Works. We started him there, and then if you guys get approval, then.
Okay, so the next probably 2 meetings we'll have.
Yes.
2 lines.
Yes,
the
yeah,
line
right,
items
his pay.
to- Okay.
And what tasks are we having him do at the park?
So one of the things he did last summer was lawn care.
Okay.
So he can use the riding lawnmower, he knows how to use it, the weed eater. If you look along the fence line out here, we had all those trees going through, he went through and cut all those. They used some weed killer and killed a bunch of stuff like around your thing. You guys got a couple beams that you need replaced in the park.
Yes, I was
in.
gonna bring that
So
up.
he'll be helping him
Okay.
with that. They picked up the 3 beams already, it's 3, not 2 beams already.
Okay,
And the spikes we already had, so
Okay.
there won't be any cost there.
okay.
And then what we're really waiting for, we want to get the park cleaned up for the Flag Day. Hopefully, we don't get all the rain we're saying this weekend, and next week we can get those installed. One of the problems is they're so rotted out, trying to get them out without losing all the mulch and getting them back down level. It's gonna be, we'll have to dig out a little bit.
Okay.
That's fine.
I would like for that to be priority.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's,
Safety.
yeah.
Are you guys looking at putting any more mulch in?
I think that was going to be
This year?
something possibly looking at it next year, kind of trying to do alternating every other
Like
year.
every other
Because
year.
you've got a lot of
Yeah.
problem areas there.
Yeah.
Did he, with the weeding, did he get the thistles in the gravel area?
Over by the, like merry-go-round?
Yeah.
I'll have to check, I don't know.
Okay.
I know they were over there doing, like I said, using the weed killer, so I don't know. One of the things we have to be careful is with kids.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they'll go at night,
Yeah.
while they still have a little daylight. That way it gives them all night for it to dry and all that. But I know that's their plan to go kill all that. Because whatever he uses, I don't know if you've seen back there, but he kills everything. So, and I know that we did the fence line where you guys cleaned, during your cleanup day.
It looks better, doesn't it?
It does it better, yeah. No, it's really good.
You can see the water.
Yeah.
I know, it's like, I don't think I've ever seen the creek from the side of the fence line.
So yeah, if you guys could vote on that to hire him tonight, I would appreciate it, and we can
Okay.
get that done.
What was his name, Bryce?
Bryce Boudreau.
Boudreau.
B-U-D-R-U-E.
Okay.
No, I can get you the spelling.
Okay.
All right, I'll like to make a motion to hire Bryce Woodrow for the summer. Can you specify what his term is going to be?
Until he goes back to school in August, I don't have the,
So like end of July?
I would say first week in August.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to hire Bryce Boudreau to help with the park maintenance, 10 hours a week until through the first weekend of August.
I second.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we can also just put it until the end of August, just in case if we don't have the exact dates.
Because he might work weekends or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he could, he's done really good. We had the lawnmower, the belt came off of it, and Bob came in on a Saturday to fix it, and he'd already had it fixed. So he's like, okay. So I mean, he might be something that we can use a weekend help or something like that too, going down the road once we see what we got.
Okay, through the end of August.
Yeah, I was like tentatively right now, we can just say through the end of August.
Did I get a second?
Elaine had seconded.
Second.
Okay, perfect.
So, motion carries.
Thank
You
you.
proceed with necessary paperwork. Okay. The next item is the repair of the pergola, however you want to call it, pergola. Okay, so it came up last night at Public Works because they're also concerned, and they know about the sidewalk and that issue there.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were hoping that it may either get included in the parking lot project, or it may have to be a separate project, okay?
Okay.
But either way, they would prefer that we don't repair the pergola, because by doing the sidewalk, there may be damage done to it. So if we repair it and then they work on the sidewalk and do more damage, then we're just kind of back to square one.
One of the issues, if you go back there and look at it, you can see where it's blue and then white. So we
On the
painted that
building.
in 19, so it's sunk that much in that many years. And if you look at the drains running down, they have them running into the ground. That's the only corner we did that on, I don't know why. But we have an issue, either the pipes broke underneath and the water's settling and then, dropping it, or it just went there anyway and didn't run out. So right where your guys' wood comes to the sidewalk, we'd have to tear that up anyway to fix the sidewalk.
Okay.
So if your decision is to build a new one, we just ask that we work together on that, so that you don't build a new one and I tear it up and then have to build a new one again.
Yeah. Are you referring to like the decking?
Yeah, the decking that comes up and butts up against the sidewalk.
Okay.
So if you want to do the pergola itself, that'd be fine, but I would wait for the ramp.
But the rest of it is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's mainly the flooring that's.
Yeah, the pergola, I think we're gonna leave as is, it's just we want to replace the decking.
Sure,
Because that's like
Yeah.
dilapidated.
So one of the things to look at is, in Public Works, most of our projects are roads and streets, right? So that's where most of our money is concentrated. For sidewalks that the city owns, like the buildings, it has to come out of operations, out of the general fund. There's only $20,000 in there a year to
Okay.
handle those type of things. Depending on the price of concrete and all that, you're looking at $5,000 to $8,000 just to replace the sidewalk, nothing underneath it. So we're looking at two different things. We have the park project coming up where we're lowering the driveway or the parking lot, fixing it. depending on how much money we have extra, if we can add that into the project, we'll just do it all then.
Okay,
If not, we have rainy day fund we can look at or budget it for next spring to do. So that's
okay,
kind of the three options we have now. We're doing a pre-con meeting for the parking lot next month. So while we're doing that, we're going to talk about that parking, or that sidewalk.
okay.
What's our, do we have any extra cash from that? Because that's art money, so we can use it. If we have enough extra on what they think it's gonna cost to fix it, then we'll try and do the project while we already have concrete people there. Because they're redoing the whole sidewalk in front.
Yeah, so,
So they're already there.
Wrap
Usually we
around,
get a cheaper
yeah.
price because they don't have to mobilize and demobilize, they're
Yeah.
already there. So that's our number one goal to try to accomplish.
okay,
But we're pretty close to that number now. So I don't know that that'll work if we'll have any extra to do it. But again, it's something we can look at rainy day fund and say, while you're here, what's the cost? And then use that money. If that fails, next spring, the next best option to do
Okay.
that. So that's kind of the Board of Public Works
Yeah.
plan for
okay.
the sidewalk.
Does the sidewalk have to be replaced or can it be raised?
It's probably gonna have to be replaced just by the way it's breaking up, by the way it's sunk.
Okay,
And then I would probably say that concrete's, I don't know how old. And then once we start messing with it, I don't know what it's going to do.
okay,
So we definitely, and how big is the hole underneath it is the other, because we're gonna have to backfill it. So we'll
Yeah.
probably have to tear
And that
everything.
drainage would have to be.
And we gotta replace the drainage, which is the other thing with your guys' pergola, trying to run it away from that as much
Yeah.
as possible.
okay.
And again, we don't know where it runs. I don't know if it runs out to the drain out in the middle of the foot, or the baseball field.
Yeah.
Or if they just ran it out 100 feet and stopped, or 10 feet, I don't know.
Okay,
And we have no good plans, it tells me. So it's kind of a guessing game right now. And our one option was just to run gutters down like we did on everything else and just run it off into the grass. And
Yeah.
let it go that way, because there's that hill there, so we can.
true.
So there's a couple different options, but once we do the pre-con, we'll get the engineers over, look at it, give us a cost estimate, and then see what we can do.
Ultimately, we just need to hold off on the deck though.
Yeah, I would ask you to, just because I don't see you guys do work we have
Put
to
that on the
tear up.
back burner for
Yeah,
now.
if we
Okay.
can.
I think we can still do kind of like some tentative pricing out of like materials. If we do research
Yeah.
on like the materials we want to use, we can definitely get that put into a nice little folder.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, this parking lot is taking place in September.
Yes.
Yes.
That's not that far off.
Right.
So,
So we still could
Yeah,
have
but-
it in October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if it comes down to it and they do end up needing to rip up the decking before, like to get the sidewalk replaced and all that stuff, that would save us some, little bit of labor.
It would save you some labor
So,
and money.
yeah, so if that ends up happening, it's fine, as long as we can just save, because the structure of the actual pergola is still very sound.
Mhm.
It's just the ground, the flooring.
Yeah, yeah, and if you guys want to do that portion of it, that's fine. And then, I don't know if you want the ramp to go back or not, but if that's something they could come back later and do after we're done with that work. So if you want to get at least part of the project done, I just, like I said, I don't want to tear up your deck going to the sidewalk. and
yeah, I
stuff.
don't want that.
If you're spending a couple $1,000 and we're
Appreciate
tearing it
it.
up and spending a couple $1,000
Yeah.
to put it back, doesn't make sense.
So we can hold off, but still do our research on materials and all that, and then,
Okay.
Because we're also thinking, I think at one time, the rocks from when you redo around the flags,
Mhm.
taking those rocks and
Yeah.
moving them back there so the kids could paint, project, paint them and things like that.
instead
Yeah,
of,
just the
and like I
rocks
said,
would still be
that'll be one of the things
potentially-
we need to go out and look and dig some out.
yeah.
Excuse me. I think, and like I said, he did this years ago, so it's hard for me to remember, but I think at the bottom of that, they just poured a foot of concrete and they put the tubes in for the pipes and all the rest is gravel.
Okay.
So once we start taking that out, I don't know what the walls are gonna do.
Okay.
And then I also don't know if we can take some out and then concrete it with the rock. I don't know.
We can work on that.
So,
And we were just thinking if there was rocks, it'd be a good project for kids to work on and things like
Yeah.
that, so.
Yeah, also minimize the
Like a little rock
potential of
garden.
rocks getting thrown at cars, things like that.
our biggest part about the rocks in there is they keep going down our storm drain that's right there.
Yeah,
And then you do know when we do the parking lot, that brick that's around there, that you can trip on, is gonna be concrete.
Okay,
So we're concreting over that, so you'll have a nice concrete pad around there.
okay.
So if you want to like put it on one of those chairs that's in the ground, that's something we can look at when we're doing it.
Oh, the benches that are in,
I
okay.
Yeah.
like this.
Is that part of the project?
I don't think so.
You're good.
Appreciate you, all the information that you shared.
Okay. Moving on to monthly financials.
Okay.
There is $247.95.
Which one?
This is APV transaction listing.
Is that payroll or claims distribution?
That's payroll.
Okay.
Payroll.
So what is that amount again?
$277.95.
77?
It's for Elon Financial Services for $25 and Hannah's Record Service.
Oh, that's the dumpster.
That was the dumpster, which was an excellent.
No, this isn't payroll.
That should be
This is
payroll.
payroll.
That should be our claims recommendation.
I don't even see that on here.
277.95 for claims
Okay.
recommendation.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the claims recommendation in the amount of $277.95.
All right, I second that motion for approving the claims recommendation for $277.95.
And I will say that having the dumpster was,
Oh,
we didn't think we were gonna.
Oh,
they didn't think we were
They
gonna
were
fill it.
so nice to work with.
they were
That company was
awesome.
amazing.
They were great.
And it got filled really quick.
Yes, it did.
Okay, now we have, this is fund report.
That one should be,
Oh, this is just a report.
that's just our report. We should
Yeah,
have
we don't
boxes
have
on
to-
somewhere.
That's just info.
That next.
This one.
Okay.
Yep.
It's distribution,
That's the distribution detail.
yes, for Bob,
Okay.
382.50.
382.50. Okay.
Yep, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the distribution detail in the amount of $382.50.
I will second that motion to approve the distribution detail and the total of $385.
$82.
$82.50. I read those backwards, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Moving on to the 4th of July. Ooh, okay. So,
Connie,
yeah,
do you want to chime in? Because I know you
Yeah.
said the binder and everything, like,
Yes.
okay.
So this is a summary, since 6/5, when I sat with Elaine and we sat down and we talked about what was going on, all right? So this is a summary, so we've got Kona Ice's information confirmation, they're also invited to the park afterwards and are coming. We sent emails out to all last year's attendees on 6/6, we called them all on 6/12. Spoke with Steve Snyder of the Corvette Club, they do not have any vehicles that they are willing to let us use.
really?
Oh, for
the Grand Marshal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so we need to get a car.
So we are trying to find someone who's already asked to be in the parade, that has a car, that maybe we can do it. We're not having a lot of luck. Flyers were handed out around our agency, around the Dollar Tree businesses on Madison and Southport Road. We submitted a total of 3 social media posts since we've spoken with you, Elaine. Attached is the information for those people we called today. So I've got the actual form of everyone we called today. Yes, indicates that they're going to be filling out the forms and submitting them either to Haley or to Becky, so they know, and if they go to Haley, she forwards them to Becky.
Okay.
We left voicemails on those we did not get a hold of. Purple highlights indicates who we already have for the parade documentation on this form. Want to confirm we left off with Elaine that she would provide the MC with our information, and if he wanted to touch base with us, he would do that directly, so that we can just kind of cut it out so you don't have to worry about it. Completed a brief bullet point, also document to put in the binder, kind of put at the front that shows a timeline of how best to prepare based off the things we learned this year, and maybe getting a little bit ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want me to go over it, if you just want me to put it in the binder. We just have about 7 bullet points about maybe a timeline to better get prepped. You want me to
Perfect.
go over it real quick, or do you just want me to put it in the front of the binder?
I mean, you can go over it.
I'd love to hear.
So just a year ahead, plan the date. As soon as we're done with this day, let's plan the next one. We know when it's going to be, basically. 6 months ahead, schedule time on the board meeting agenda to bring up the information so the public is aware.
Yeah.
The community is aware. Ask an open forum for those who'd like to contribute and to start thinking about it. 4 months ahead, start reaching out to vendors that we would like to be in the event, because everyone is procrastinating and they're all like, yeah, I'm going to do it, I'll send it. So, I feel like we're going to have, I think we've got like 17 yeses so far,
Okay.
But I just think
There's gonna be a lot of last minute, yeah.
Right. 3 months ahead, reach out again to all the individuals from last year. Flyer should be created this time, first post on social media. 2 months ahead, confirm the location, the flow of the traffic, reach out again, this time with sign-up forms attached. 1 month ahead, confirm all the above has been completed, post 2 social media posts, boosting 1 if funds are available to do, it's not super expensive on Facebook to do. 2 weeks ahead, meet with all parties who are assisting and hosting the event to confirm desired flow of the event. I'm just gonna put this in the front,
Yeah,
whoever
I love
takes it
that.
over can just do it.
Love
And
it.
I love that.
we did put it in the newsletter that went out 1st of April.
Okay.
They actually had an invitation to, we actually blinded the parade then too.
Okay, great.
So we did have some early publicity.
Yeah.
Not much, but.
Yeah, that's fine. So I think it's gonna be fine, I think it's gonna be very similar to what it was last year. I think most of the same people are showing up, I just don't know about the car. I don't know if
Yeah.
we know someone that has a convertible.
Who has that yacht?
Officers. We can,
Does he want to drive
Okay.
the Grand Marshal and his family? I don't know if they
you
own.
probably like driving and stand in the middle of the street.
That's right.
It's just one person
I can ask him.
Okay.
It's Jack Christie, and I think he has 4 Christie's people with him.
Oh, they
It's nice.
We can do like,
So some can walk, I mean, if we can find a 2-seater, you know, I mean, they did that last year, people did it. I don't think did we have a Corvette for every single person in the Grand Marshal's party?
No, we had the horse and carriage for the Grand Marshal last year.
Yeah.
With the unruly horse. That's not happening.
You can't have the horse in the park and you can't have it on school property.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
so.
So just to, awesome. Lineup's gonna start at 9:30.
Right.
Okay, that's.
At this
At the
elementary school.
elementary school, which has been cleared. We
Yes.
have approval.
Yep.
Yeah, got
Okay, Rachel will be there at 9 to direct.
Right.
Yeah.
Becky's gonna be the wonderful assistant, helping with lineup order after we get the, who should be in the front. Rather than try and do, oh, you have to be this order, whoever gets up next is.
We're gonna write it all out real quick, and then we're gonna give it to the guy down seat. So we're just gonna write out who's where, so instead of, oh, no, you're here, you gotta scoot in, all that
It just-
confusion.
yeah.
We'll just write it out and we'll give it to them.
Okay.
And then Chuck, MC Chuck's gonna be at the corner of Walnut and Southport.
Right.
And hopefully announce who's coming and who's coming, and things like that. So that'll be where the bulk of the people will be. So I think that's,
So, sorry.
Parade starting at 10:30, ending at the park at 11:30, and then the event start at the park.
yeah.
Yes, so, sorry, you and Haley and Becky are gonna be at the school
Kind of direct.
starting,
Right.
and then the rest of us are at the park
I think so.
to receive and get the
Right.
after party going. Lack of a better word, right? Okay, do you think you're gonna need any more help?
No,
The three of you
Yes, on my team.
at the school.
Probably fine.
Okay.
Okay,
And I'm gonna take our leftover Easter candy
Oh, yeah.
and give it to them. So
If people don't bring their own candy to,
Yeah.
they just kind of go over, like, we're not pelting them at the crowd, we're just kind of a gentle.
Yeah.
Just kind of remind.
Unless you want it.
okay,
Yeah. So,
Perfect.
there will be a reserved parking area for VIPs, which will be the Grand Marshal and the council members.
Okay, I was like, what is this VIP? Who is coming and what is a
We've
VIP?
had that problem in the past.
Okay.
And it's
I'm
because,
confused.
yeah, Joe Haley, who is handicapped, and then when Larry was on the board, his age and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we always try to find a place to park them up, so it's not walking from the parking lot.
So it's gonna be kind of where, where the dumpster is, kind of by the little library.
Okay.
There. And hopefully the cadets will be directing traffic.
Mhm.
And then I told him to also make sure that people know where they can park as
Mhm.
opposed to coming into the park.
Okay.
so the VIPs are parking in the park, but everyone else, are you directing to that other one?
Yeah, we usually direct them over to the parking lot. We're not real particular about Derbyshire, so we'll tell them, hey, go up by, what's that, Tulip, and start parking there, and we'll park them that
Just
way.
like along the street?
Yeah, so we'll put them there. Biggest thing is, like, if you have a record, sometimes Hadley is in it.
He is in it,
We'll just tell
yeah.
him to keep on going, and he's fine with
Yeah.
that. He'll park and get his way back, so. Yeah, I mean, that's never really been an issue in any of the parades for the
Okay.
last 13 years anyway, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but, yeah, anything you want, have officers at the front,
Okay.
to let who needs to be in, and then block it. The officers will be there at 9:30 at the park to clear out any cars that aren't supposed to be there, or anybody that thinks they're gonna park in before. We'll do our bomb sweep. We'll have officers at both ends and then down the whole street.
Okay.
So at the park, there'll be, Connie will have a booth and Hunger Inc. will have a booth. And then you have Kona Ice.
Kona Ice.
And Kona Ice.
Is Kona Ice the only one in the parade that is going to enter the park? As
Well,
of
we
right
are,
now?
but,
Oh, wow.
but they're gonna, it's two separate things.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
I didn't know Kona
You
Ice
have
was
a
bringing
vehicle
their traveling.
We have a vehicle in the parade,
Okay.
but then the other people, the other team will be at the park in the tent. Yeah.
You don't need the car in the side.
I do not need the car inside, I do not, you can park it somewhere else.
Yeah, I just need a list so the guys know which to let in.
Yeah, they'll bring it over to probably drop everything off,
Okay,
but then they'll leave and come and park it in for the parade.
okay.
Is Traveling Tom's coming?
We have not been able to get hold of the Traveling Tom.
I thought they were on
I
the
thought it was the same contact, like the same person.
There's
Yeah.
two, no, it's Pizza Junkies and them we have not been able to get in touch with.
Okay.
I don't know about Traveling Tom. I can find out.
Pizza
Okay.
Junkies is a little bit more responsive if you storm into their restaurant. That's how you can get a hold of them, unfortunately.
Sorry, I think I interrupted you and you were about to say something. Or you didn't, okay, I'm sorry.
Now let's talk about horses.
But I think I interrupted you. Did you have something else you wanted to add, or did you have anything else for Connie?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good. We did kind of skip over the shelter house setup, but I think that just
That's
I know.
is referring to us being at the park.
the night before. If we want
Okay.
to, we've reserved the shelter house the night before.
Okay,
If we want to do any setting up
okay.
that night as opposed to in the morning. Just-
Okay.
Or both.
Or both,
We can
it's
do
just a
both.
little,
Okay.
that way we're not rushing around and things
Yeah.
like that, so.
And signage, we,
It's almost finished, it's on my dining room table.
yeah, we should have signs up Saturday
Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
in front of EM.
Yeah, they would, yes,
Yeah.
I know them, I walked in, she goes, I know you. And so, yeah, she's
So it'll
in.
be EM and then Buddy Lynch's side yard.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay, when we come, so the MC will then move into the park.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he'll
so,
be up by the pavilion because he needs power.
Okay.
and
Okay?
he's gonna like DJ.
He's gonna DJ music.
Okay, cool.
We will be having hot dogs. So, Faith Community Church
Okay.
and Lions Club will be doing the cooking.
Cooking,
Okay.
And
okay.
so they'll be cooking back behind the shelter house and then, putting them in. So I will get Tom, I will get with Chief, I will get with you, so they know where like the grill and the propane tank and everything is a couple
yeah.
days before, just so that they're familiar with it.
And
So,
you're serving the hot dogs inside,
yes,
so if we set them up out where it's at, we can prop that back door and they can just go right in, they're right there.
yeah. And I think we will have some tables,
Mm-hmm.
little kids,
Yeah.
Tables, coloring, things,
things like that, so,
People get out of the sun a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is one of the big things, especially with the elderly people. and the
Yeah.
ones that go in.
Yeah.
And have the garage doors open.
You know, lose your air conditioning.
Oh, okay.
So,
I wasn't thinking about that, I was thinking about
That's
cost
up to you.
breaks, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Off the air conditioning, you just open the doors, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah, we used it the one year because it was 110 degrees outside, so we didn't open the doors so that the elderly people or kids could go and
Yeah,
cool off.
well,
But if you have a
whatever,
nice breeze and all that.
yeah,
you can
whatever's
go
gonna
on.
work best that day, I
Yeah.
guess, we can
Yeah.
go
We
with.
can pivot.
So Traveling Tom may be there, we'll know for sure tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
They might have a conflict, so that's why they may not be.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Can we circle back to the music real quick?
yes,
We still have 2 more contracts that we need to sign, but I think Melissa, I don't know if she has them in there or if she has gotten the email confirmations about them.
okay, because I got something from Chris, so I'll bring it.
Yes, because his account, his Perry Township was linked to one of the accounts because he was
Yes.
the president at the time.
So this, he gave me this the day that we met with him. So, but just to finish out the food, they'll have a hot dog, chips, and water, so we'll need water,
That's
chief.
the big one.
Yeah, we'll get some more, we just got another pallet in.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So I think we'll wrap up kind of one-ish. I think that, you were looking for kind of a time frame, and that's what I told Hungry, so.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anything else on 4th of July? Okay. Music in the park. Okay. And I'm going to take this in sections. I have gone to Public Works twice now about the alcohol ban, lifting it for that day. Okay. They were very reluctant a month ago. They kind of want to know what bands we had, what era, who is going to be coming, what is our draw point. Okay. And then last night, they want to do only one approval at a time. They don't want to approve both of them. They want to see how it goes, okay? So we did the waiving of the alcohol ban, but we are not having vendors come in and setting up, okay?
Okay.
We're not setting up a garden, okay? That would not get passed. I can tell you that right now, they would not pass it. So by having the alcohol ban lifted, basically, we are not advertising, we're not promoting that you can bring your alcohol, but if someone brings some beer in, the police are not gonna arrest them, so police.
We'll make sure they're 21, but.
My biggest hesitation with that is we are still going to be, if anything were to happen, the city of Southport would still be liable for any type of, anything that happens.
But that's
whether
with
they-
any event that you have.
I know, but that's.
It's the same thing. There's some parks where you can bring alcohol,
Yeah,
and you don't need a beer license, you don't need any of that. You're an adult, you got your alcohol. If they fall down and get hurt, they're gonna sue you anyway. It doesn't matter. One of the things, if I could, so we currently are putting back together our support service division. So our support service division officers are the ones who do all the fundraisers, parades, events, that kind of stuff. There's 5 guys dedicated to doing nothing but that. With all the turnover at the state police, with new superintendents and all that, we weren't allowed to get we weren't able to get like their background checks and all that done in a timely manner. So we are currently have passed that. They're here tonight doing training. So kind of one of the things that we did, so the whole thing didn't get shut down last night, was let's do it this time. So with the beer truck, by state law now, you have to have a beer garden. And since you have the truck, the beer garden has to be by the truck, right? So if it's inside, remember last year we did it inside, we had one door in, one door out, I can set one officer there, he can monitor it, check IDs, all that. When you use a truck in the outside, I have to set up a perimeter with tape
yeah.
and make sure it's secured with officers, then an officer checking. So you're talking a minimum of 3 officers there, plus 1 or 2 parking cars. So it takes 5. So
When did they pass the beer truck?
January 1st of this year.
Of course we did.
Yeah. Kind of what Elaine and I talked about last night is, let's try this one, let's get through another one, because the other one was great, and we knew there were people there with alcohol. We didn't bother them, they were older people, they had a couple beers and a glass of wine, and we had a great time, and everything was good. And I think this will go the same way. But then in the fall, what they want you to come back is, if we want to do the beer truck, we will have the manpower then to staff that.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want to do is say, yeah, I have the beer truck, show up that day and go, oh, we can't have a beer truck, I don't have enough guys, right?
Yeah.
So trying to make sure that,
Okay.
we're working together, we have everybody that we need in place to make it safe,
Uh-huh.
and make sure that we're following all the rules.
Yeah. So how would this fall within Marion County with their health department and all of their regulations with alcohol? Is it just kind of like, how is that going to work?
Yeah, since we're not advertising or anything like that,
Okay.
I mean, it would be up to the officer. I mean, if he sees a 12-year-old drinking a beer, we're going to address that, right?
I hope.
Yeah. So, I mean, the 80s music, 80s, 90s last time, I mean, it was an older group. They were real chill, had a good time, had the lawn chairs, and it was a good night, really, but,
It was like a great concert.
yeah, it was a great concert, yeah.
That's good.
So I we get this next one, hopefully it's the same success and we have no issues, and I think the board will kind of lighten up a little bit on that. One of the things, and Southport's been that way since I've been here, it's an older group, and they're set in ways, and it's for kids, and it's, a park, and we want kids there, not alcohol and people. So, but I mean, they're coming around and they're open-minded about it. I think we just need to make sure, if I tell them we got 5 officers, I think that'll help out a lot.
Okay.
So it's kind of where we're at today.
So, like she said, we're not advertising it. If people bring their own, then they're not gonna stop them.
Okay.
So that's the approach. So,
And it was, and the same one last year when they brought it up, they get to the sign, put their head down and wheel the cooler back.
yeah,
And then I'd go, come here, man, what are we doing?
yeah,
And so like I said, it was a good time.
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
okay. So now we have to get bands, okay?
Yes, you said.
I told Kinsey to try to get 8-bit audio, her
They were the
friend
small
that
acoustic.
was that small acoustic
Mhm.
group
Oh, yeah, they were
from
great.
the fall festival that everyone
Uh-huh.
seemed to really like. I
Yes.
think,
Sent him a message a couple hours ago. We'll see if he responds. I said, no, absolutely no pressure if they are busy that night, because I know they do travel a lot and do a lot of events
that's
around the
okay,
city. So.
feel free to pressure them.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
But yes, I sent them a message. I have not heard back yet.
Where are we at with,
I have talked to Late Night, okay?
Uh-huh.
They have tentatively put it on their calendar. I said, I just need approval to book them.
tentatively?
Yeah.
We need them to send us an invoice.
Okay.
Since we know the amount, we can go
Yeah,
ahead
and
and
it's gonna be
approve it.
they have $100 per band member. There's 7 band members, and they'd like to pay their audio guy another 100, so it'd be like $800. Okay.
Okay.
They will need power, but that won't be a problem.
No, that's not a problem.
Okay, so do you want me, I will call him back and.
We should go ahead and approve it tonight
Okay.
Yes.
for up to roughly about 1,000.
Yeah, I would say 1,000.
Yeah, up to, and then let him know that we just need to have an invoice and a W-9 sent to Alyssa to get that out of our budget.
Okay. I will call him back.
Okay, so I
This
will,
is for the August date, right?
Yes.
Okay.
the
Yes.
August 16th?
Mhm.
Okay, so I will go ahead and make a motion to approve for the late night, what is it?
Revelers?
Revelators?
Revelators.
Revelators.
Okay. Late night relevators, there we go. To be our music and park for August 16th, and I forward the payment of up to $8,000.
I'll second that.
Tom knows him. I mentioned Tom. She told me to.
Yeah, Tom was a fan.
So the band for July 19th is kind of up in the air, is that correct?
Yes.
Because we talked about Downstairs Dads.
Yeah, that was the other band from
and 90s
Fall
band.
Festival.
Okay.
That 90s sadly is not available for either of
Okay.
those dates.
Okay. So we could get if that one band isn't available, we could maybe talk Downstairs Dads.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that'd be great.
I work with the drummer.
Okay, tell him he's coming. Now, do we want food trucks for both of these events?
I would like only one food truck.
One, yeah,
Uh-huh,
because I feel like last year when we had just the one, who was it, Burger Poet?
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like for the
Okay,
amount of
yeah.
people were there,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we have more than one, that's too
Yeah.
much.
Then we fall into the pitfall of we have to have minimum sale
yeah.
for
Yeah.
some of the trucks. They do have minimum sales in their contracts with us. So
And that
if
was
we do
one of the questions, just to circle back, that came up. If you have beer and wine vendors and then they have minimums, then you kind of get dicey with, then are you having to pay that if they don't sell it? But
Yeah.
Danielle said that last time they didn't require a minimum.
In my work with some of the beer and wine vendors, they have never really required the minimum, and I don't know if that's because of it's state regulation or something,
Okay.
but I've worked with, they haven't required it.
Okay. Kinsey, would you run with the food trucks?
Who do we want? We can try Burger Poet again, I can see, I can find some.
Anyone?
Yeah.
It's like, I can find someone.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Police night out, just get on our radar, is August 5th.
Okay.
So
Hopefully it's cooler this year.
or rain, not raining. and-
No heat stroke.
So, do we typically just, are you gonna do like you did last year with baskets and raffles?
Yeah.
We should start working on our park basket then, because I don't know if we actually got one since last year.
We
Yeah, we
did.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause that was my first project.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, okay. So you're just putting that out on your radar, so.
Do you need volunteers?
Yes. I know the sorority that came and relieved you guys, or you relieved them, not sure.
Uh-huh.
I think you relieved them. They're gonna be back this year for the whole thing. So I
Okay.
might need some help with them, but,
Okay.
yeah.
Just like
always-
extra hands, like,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we always have the part where they can get their little toy and all that, so we always need extra volunteers for that. So if you guys like to help with that, we'd love to have you.
Okay. I will add it to my calendar.
We're still allowed to put, our favorite topic, alcohol, in our basket for donating, correct?
Those always make more money.
They do.
Whatever we can do.
Miscellaneous items, we've already talked about the alcohol. The donated tree, it's still coming, that's my donated tree, but
Okay.
I was approached by Carol on behalf of the council.
And I may have, can I speak? I'm
Certainly,
sorry,
yes.
I'm not at the end of the meeting. I may have spoke out of turn. I don't really care where it comes from, if it's the council, the parks board, or we can work together on it. Just so maybe we work together and donate a tree for Larry.
That's a
In
good
the
one.
park, do you have an idea of where you want it in the
What
park?
type?
Elaine had, she said that they had kind of
We had
scoped out an area.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
So what I was thinking, is there a type of tree of preference?
Elaine and then I had talked, and she said that I don't know if she said with the arborist or,
Yeah,
my son-in-law works for Plainfield, and he said that you really should do like kind of what you said, but see what kind of soil that you have in the park, and then get a reference on what tree would work better.
Okay.
I'm just throwing
No,
that
that's
out
great,
there.
yeah. Because you've got a problem because it can't really be watered.
Right.
And new trees
Well,
need a lot, typically new trees need a lot
That
of
have to
water.
be watered.
We do have
first.
a summer employee.
And we're able to get one of the tanks fixed too, so we can go out and water. So
Okay, that's good.
Do you guys know how much it is, like the donation for a tree? I mean, is it like $100?
I do
think,
not.
yeah, because I know when I bought trees one time for, it's like $100 or $200.
I think it depends on the size of the tree, like how mature
Sure,
the tree is.
yeah.
You can buy it.
Just let me know.
Because you don't want just.
Brent said you should get a trunk that's at least this big around.
Okay.
So one place they had been to look at trees was, I want to say it's Fry Road in Meridian, and it kind of sits, it like maybe was,
The car lot, McCammons.
yes, and he said to go there and look and maybe see, so I thought I would do that.
And Damon's up in Beach Grove is better.
Okay.
Only because, the only reason I say that is because, not to say that a vendor, but once you take something off of their property in McCammons, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Whereas at Damon's, there is a year guarantee, so.
Well, that's good to know.
Are we considering putting like a little stake?
Black, yeah.
Yeah.
That we can move as the tree grows, like move it out so we're not hindering the tree.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like,
Once you guys get further, let us know, the police department will.
okay.
So, but I mean, it's just.
Once we get
Huh?
I was like, once we figure out what kind of tree we
Yeah.
want, get it priced out.
And so, do you feel comfortable I couldn't remember whether you said you had an arborist and
I
he moved.
have an arborist, but he moved and someone has bought his business and I'm
Okay.
waiting for him to contact me.
Okay.
So,
So we'll touch base.
yeah, but we know
But
that the goal.
do you need to vote on that, or can we just do that, or what?
Well, it's coming out of multiple pots to get the.
I don't know if we necessarily have to
How
vote
about
right now.
I come back with the information,
Oh, yeah,
and then,
because I think once we have a dollar
Got
amount, then,
Yes.
but
Yeah,
unofficially, I think like, yes, we.
but then I'll be waiting for you to tell me what kind of soil that we have.
Yeah,
okay.
so this will just be sort of.
Got it, we're on the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But no,
So,
I know,
yes, go
I think
for it.
we are gonna get
I
that.
don't see us turning down a dedicated tree for Larry, that's not gonna happen. so.
Because it's kind of starting where we want to go anyway, which will be a good kickoff.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
okay.
I love it.
Anything else that I didn't cover that needs to be covered?
Not that I can think of.
So are you saying Alyssa has those bills for the
She
music?
should have gotten, so clearly Chris got the BMI one. There's another company that I think was set up with Alyssa's email that she should have gotten. If not, it was set up with my old dead email. And I need to remember which company it was, because we already signed one, and I can reach out to the contact from the other company
Okay.
again if we can. So it's not
I was kind of
BMI.
hoping it would be in a folder.
Yeah, so we'll just have to figure out what that third company is. because the email is now gone.
Okay. Yeah, because we definitely need to get that.
Yeah, we need to get that hopefully taken care of before. And since the city, last time we spoke, the attorney just said, go ahead and sign off for you.
We already approved CSAC,
Okay, so CSAC, BMI,
just letting you know.
there's another company that we need to figure out what it is, but we can look for that later.
Okay.
Okay.
Connie, anything else?
We're ready to go, we're ready.
Awesome. Again, thank you. Any other comments?
Nope, I think we should move forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Any open comments from anybody in the audience?
I have a couple.
Okay.
I was over in the park and I was looking at the condition of some of the equipment in the
Okay.
park. And I took some pictures that I'm happy to share with you, but
Okay,
some of the playground equipment is looking pretty bad.
okay.
Like, I
Is it in the ADA area or the?
no, it's
Is
the
it
older
like
stuff.
Okay.
So if you see like,
Oh, yeah.
see how there's like all the paint.
The paint?
Yeah,
It's been loved.
Yeah. So do we think it just needs repainted?
yeah, so.
Maybe sandblasted
there's
and
like
painted?
there's a lot of,
Okay.
there's a lot of stuff, I mean, this one's really bad. Sorry. And then, the slides are looking a little rough,
Okay.
and the teeter-totters. And then the other thing that I wanted to, oh, and the picnic tables.
Oh,
The picnic tables look really, really bad.
Like graffiti, like you're talking
No,
about?
I mean, like,
Oh.
I don't want to sit at them because I'm pretty sure it's just a splinter festival.
Oh, no, okay.
So those look pretty bad. Someone brought to my attention that all of these swings are at the same height, and they were wondering if we could have some
Somebody
variation.
Okay.
And when I talked to Chief,
Big ones?
yeah, the bigger ones. When I talked to Chief about it, he said, one of the problems is that the chains need to be replaced. So when you
Okay.
ordered new seats, they didn't come with new chains, so
Right,
they
okay.
would put new seats. There is still one missing
Right, yeah.
too,
Yeah.
which I think you guys know about.
Thank you.
And then the other thing that I have a concern about, and I don't think this is an easy fix, well, I think it's an easy fix, it's not a cheap fix, is in the ADA area, we have that recycled rubber, the
Yeah.
squishy
Yeah.
stuff. I think that we need to look at putting that underneath the merry-go-round, because the merry-go-round is a hazard, because what happens is as kids run, it creates a rut, and then the distance between the bottom of the merry-go-round and the ground becomes bigger. And the bigger that is, the more likely that somebody could get a foot or a head or something stuck underneath it.
Yeah.
So I think, from what I understand, we can keep the merry-go-round as long as we don't move it, because it's grandfathered in
Yes.
as being
Same with
okay.
that tall slide.
Right.
That's really slide.
Right, so as you're thinking about replacing mulch and stuff,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
maybe looking at, could we replace all of it with that squishy? Because that's not gonna break down as fast, and then the distance between the bottom of the merry-go-round doesn't change.
Well, even that area where all the gravel is,
Yeah,
that would be nice having that in.
yeah.
What is that called?
I don't
I'm trying
know what
to
it's-
make
I don't know what
It's
it's
like
called.
squishy stuff, that's what I'm like right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
Rubberized surface.
Okay.
I mean, I know they make a recycled, like a tire mulch. But I was,
The mulch, it can't be the mulch though, it can be
Yeah.
a certain type of mulch.
right.
Right now, it's playground mulch, which is a soft.
Well, there's a- I-
wood.
And
I
it's
did some research.
way.
Yeah, I did some research on it, and there is some rubber tire playground mulch that is approved, but I think that I don't know what that squishy stuff is called, so I didn't know how to go about finding a price or.
Squishy stuff, is it?
Squishy stuff. You mean when you Googled squishy stuff?
I didn't even Google squishy stuff, but I was just thinking that if we could make that
Yeah.
everywhere. I don't know what kind of cost is involved, but as we're looking
might-
for like next year.
That might be a
We might
multi-step
have
project.
to do that in stages.
Right, exactly.
So, okay.
Exactly, but just something to think about.
We do have carryover money, quite a bit of carryover money that needs to be used.
Well,
That
the
was-
other thing too is when I was talking to Chief about picnic tables,
You want me to talk?
do you want to talk?
The microphone's picking all up.
We were talking about, it's Pendleton, right? The
Yeah.
penitentiary that has picnic tables and they will actually deliver them. And they're really nice picnic tables. They're the ones that did the podium. You can speak more.
Yeah, so they do make picnic tables and they donate them, the time and then the delivery and all that. Sometimes we can get some of them donated too, but for like a 6-foot one, it's only like $120.
Oh.
But it's all wood, I mean, it's that thick
It's nice.
and it's, has the lacquer and all that stuff on it. So, I mean, one of the things you might think about is we have like 15, 20 that we don't need out there, that you take them to Jack Christie's and have them auctioned, which would help you with some of the funding for that. But yeah, if you do that, they have, when we went to the prison and spent about 4 hours with them, there's probably 1,000 picnic tables in there that they have pre-made already and they'll send out.
How many would you say that picnic tables you saw that were like?
Anything that's not the blue ones.
Yeah,
They're
I
all
think they
bad.
all
They're all
got
So
that.
the
Yeah.
wooden ones that are currently under.
And the problem with
So
those
the-
are, we looked at replacing the wood, but the bolts are so rusted.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're metal frames with wooden.
We'd come out probably ahead by buying the one in Pendleton for 100 and selling the old ones.
Yeah,
We probably almost,
Yeah.
yeah. And
We're
plus, like,
wasting
the
out.
good thing is they'll deliver those and then we
Yeah.
can trailer the other ones. We got a trailer, we put several on, but
I mean,
it
I
might
don't,
be a couple $100 out of them.
I don't know how quickly they can,
Right.
they can swap them out, but just
Is
thinking
there-
about like music in the park and those
do you have
kinds of.
contact?
I
I don't.
He has the
Can
contact.
you get it to me? Okay.
One of the things you also might want to think about is how many picnic tables do you really need?
Yes.
I
We
know.
do have a lot.
And it's a pain when you're cutting grass.
The shelter's only regulated for how many people during the rentals? It's like 90.
Outdoor shelter, I don't think they really have a number on because
We
it's
have like an
open.
estimate of how many
Yeah.
people it fits.
But there's like 12 picnic tables under there right now,
It's
you
too
can't
many.
even move. Well, they put the picnic tables on there to cut grass.
Yeah.
And then they move them out when they want to use them. I mean, I would say 6 or 8, you wouldn't need any more than that. And if you just kind of position them around, I think that'd be perfect. Because you have enough benches, and then you have that really nice picnic table somebody just dropped off that we have
Yes.
no idea.
Oh, the space one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
The one that
there.
I'm contemplating my way of stealing it.
Well, that's on video
I
now.
know, I'd say,
Now,
I'll send that one for you later.
yeah, we have no idea where it came from.
We don't know where it came from. It's my favorite thing ever.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys kind of look at how many you think you really want out there. Because like I said, especially like on the music, everybody brings a lawn chair.
Yeah.
I mean, so a lot of those, they know that. But yeah, all except for the blue ones, which I think you guys did when you redid the baseball, right? Are the ones that, you know,
Oh, did Bob get the new nets up for the
Yes.
basketball goals?
yeah, he did that a couple months ago.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
one of the kids was yelling at him.
No, I just happened to be over
Yeah.
there and.
I know I told myself I need to kind of visit more often, but what other people see and what I see could be two different, angles.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So, sorry, back to the equipment, do you think that, because you're the one that took the photos and like noticed it, is it really just like repainting them?
Yeah, I think most of the repairs just need to be repainting.
Okay.
I feel like they were just repainted.
They were
Well,
repainted.
The problem was they didn't sandblast them.
No. Yeah.
When we sandblast them in the past,
Yes,
we get
that's
several
what-
years.
Yeah, it was like
done.
they were just done like 3 years ago not when I first started, but a couple years after.
Yeah.
Or like a year after, so.
But I think maybe, I don't even know that it's something that you would do this year.
Yeah,
But
It could also,
starting to look at,
yeah.
we could potentially put it as a fall closure to winter project since that would not be used as
oh,
often.
true.
Right.
Yeah,
Something,
yeah.
fall, winter, since
Do-
not many kids are out running on the park during December.
Speaking of, do we want to put some dates out there for our fall cleanup? just to kind of start thinking about it.
Definitely needs to be after the parking lot's done, so after September,
Yeah, so it'd be in October.
October or November.
October, November, yeah.
So if you want to maybe put some, thinking about some dates.
Okay.
Carol, do you want to introduce the new member?
You know, she's been pretty good at introducing herself in the last 2 meetings. Thank you.
I'm Susan Hancock. I'm the new District 4 Council Representative. So,
Nice to meet you.
and thank you for all that you are doing for our park. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think everybody said
Yeah.
everything that needs to be
Any
said.
other, oh, sorry.
I Googled how much the rubber,
Oh,
The squishy stuff?
it's called rubber playground surfacing.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's $10 to $15 per square foot.
Square foot, I just did the math on this when we did it. Our playground's roughly about 500 square feet, I want to say.
It's pricey.
Yeah.
But
And then you're just talking about the price of it, not
Yeah,
installing it.
installation.
And
Well, that's why if we do it in stages,
We focus on the merry-go-round
like just the
first, and then-
merry-go-round area, and then.
And are you talking about a mulch, like a rubber mulch, or the actual squishy
pad,
pad? Like, yeah, the pad.
Because that's what our ADA section
Yeah.
is, it's not the mulch, it's
Yeah.
the,
Well, one of the good things is you'll get rid of the wooden,
Beans.
beams, thank you.
No,
I got
Because
you.
it's concrete that goes around those.
Yeah, and I mean, in general, it's less maintenance,
yeah,
Yeah,
We'll
so.
spend, what, a year on mulch, about $5,000?
well,
roughly.
every other year.
Right.
But still,
Yeah.
It's a
So,
lot.
yeah, if you did like a 5-year plan and looked at sections,
Mm-hmm.
right now, Carol?
Yeah.
And that stuff's real durable. I think that stuff's been down since.
okay.
And I'll just mention one thing. If you're even thinking about doing it around the merry-go-round, I mean, they would remove it and then put it back, and then I think you might not be grandfathered
No, you
in.
can't. You can't, you can pick it up, fix it, do all that, and just
Yeah.
move it to another area.
Okay.
Yeah, I did check because I know how beloved it is. But
Yeah.
You never slide or that, people are.
Yeah,